Hi, it's Chris, also known as the Alter Ego for ScrunchibleCadaver.com, and I'm going to take you through today a little introduction to Dolphin Emulator for the Windows PC. What is Dolphin? Well, as you can see from the splash screen, the idea is that you can play Wii, GameCube games on your PC emulated. So there's an awful lot of steps to this and an awful lot of configuration and stuff. I say an awful lot. I mean, it's not terribly difficult. There are an awful lot of super guides on the internet and that kind of stuff. So the first thing that I thought I would do is give you a little glimpse of what you can do. So I thought I would play the intro movie to one of the recent games, and if I just flick over to it, it's Xenoblade Chronicles. Okay, and I'll just hit new game, and there's a lovely intro movie that comes up. I'll fade up the music here for a while, and you'll get an idea. What you'd see in this are the hallmarks of emulation, any kind of emulation. So you'll get screen stutter, audio breakup, there'll be slowdown, etc. But you'll get an idea.
Long ago, the world was nothing more than an endless sea, cloaked in a boundless sky, reaching as far as could possibly be imagined. Then two great titans came into existence. The Bionis and the Mechonis. The Titans were locked in a timeless battle. Until at last, only their lifeless corpses remained. Eons have passed. Now, our world, this vast land stretching across the remains of the Bionis, is under attack from a relentless force known as the Mechon.
They're advancing down our weak right flank. For a bunch of soulless machines, they seem to know a thing or two. But we'll see.
Young man, we've been given the order to retreat. We're pulling back the line to Colony 6. That's where we'll set up the last line of defense.
And that is mostly the intro video to Xenoblade Chronicles. As as you probably heard, there's quite an awful lot of audio stuttering, and in the Xenoblade release, that is one of the big release, the big problems with it running Dolphin. There is audio stuttering. There are some fixes and things you can do it. I just run it very vanilla today, without really getting the configuration, because I downloaded a new version of Dolphin, and it certainly runs better than the version that I had, even just straight out of the box. Why would you want to? Why would you want to do this, especially if you're doing Dolphin emulation without piracy? So you own these Wii games, like I do. I don't have very many Wii games, especially ones that I'd want to play in higher resolutions. So why do it? Well, you can see why. I mean, it looks pretty spectacular, I think. In certain parts anyway. You can see the blankness of texture in some things, not sharp edges, etc. But especially for games like Xenoblade or anything like that, the games look so remarkably different than that. So, is it hard to do? Is it hard to do? And how do you do it? So I thought what I would do is I would plank myself down and get myself a browser. Okay, and all I search for is, I'll go to Google search here. I'll go to the lovely Google webpage today. I'm going to search for Dolphin Emulator. And there it is there. Top result is shown there, and you just click on it. It provides how does it work, tells you what version you can download it there. They've got a YouTube page, the Facebook, Twitter, etc. And the beginner's guides the whole way through it. And an awful lot of the hard part of this process is getting the games off your Wii. Now, I will put up full tutorials or point you in the right direction. I'll probably not do the tutorials myself, because there's so many people that do great tutorials on how to get the games running from your Wii to your PC, especially if you're in the same network. So there's multiple ways you can do it. You can hack your Wii. If you're a bit like me, didn't care about that because I've never turned the Wii on anymore. I'm certainly not hooking it up again and doing it just to play the handful of games that I have. I have a big enough pile of shame as it is, without going down that road. You can FTP the games straight across from your Wii, so set us up as a server. You can burn the ISOs straight off the disk onto a hard drive, all those kind of things. So I will show you how to do that if there's any interest in doing it. But I just thought I would take you through some of the bits and bobs of it, and basically give you an idea of what it runs like. So yeah, you've seen how nice it looks, etc. How does it run games? So by and large, you do need a pretty decent PC. I'm running an overclocked i3 with a 460 GTX on it. Not supercomputer by any stretch of the imagination, and not, something that would cost thousands of pounds to put together. But it's a fairly decent PC. Will run nearly everything that you can think of out of the box on high settings. So yeah, this is the page. You can go to download it. They have a forum. There's a wiki, which is very valuable for any new games, etc. And you can see how often they update the emulator itself. So the 32-bit versions, the 64-bit versions, the Mac OS versions as well, for those of you that run a Mac OS system, and they have how long it's been available, etc. So and a brief description of the changelog, so to speak. So there are the options there, and there are in different languages, so to speak, etc., etc., etc. Demos, FAQs, contact. So what do you get when you download it? Well, you basically get a folder with an executable inside it, which you run. You basically point to your ISO of your game and you hit play, and that's all I did for that game, with one exception. I configured my 360 controller, which is connected by PC. It's wired, although I do have a wireless one with an adapter, which should work equally as well, to control the game instead of a Wiimote. Now, there's nothing stopping you using a Wiimote. In fact, I have the equipment here to do it. A Bluetooth adapter, an infrared bar, although there are plenty of videos out that say that you can use 2 candles to provide some reference point for the infrared source, and your Wiimote and your batteries and that kind of stuff. You can set that up. That's absolutely no problem, and I have run the games like that. But I did find it a little bit. I don't know. I never like. That's one of the reasons that I don't get my way out anymore. I don't like that control scheme. If I can map those buttons onto my 360 controller in any way to make anything playable, I will do it. So there are all the tools within Dolphins that let you map that. So basically hit a button and you press the prompt on your 360 controller, and that uses control. So I'm going to play through a little bit of the introduction to Xenoblade here. I'm going to keep on using Xenoblade because it looks good. I'll probably use New Super Mario Bros. Wii, etc. for my second one, because it's pretty spectacularly beautiful as well in those high-res graphics. But yeah, we'll do that, and let's see if I put this up again because it's just hung. Like I say, you can set it up, and if you want me to point you in the right direction for doing all those kind of things, I will do. For doing it, but for the moment I'll just show you what's possible and exactly why and how you'd want to do these things. So let's see, I'll just go through this and I'll pull this up again. If I just switch over as it cut back, so it's loading the intro movie again, which I will skip, hopefully. So I'll skip the event, okay, and it takes me to the start of this game. Turn the sound up somewhat. The music, the reason that the audio stutters quite a lot in this game is because the music plays such a big part in Xenoblade, and it's such a big thing about it. It's constantly going, it's constantly reminded, and that's why it's considered one of the top soundtracks of the past year. And let's just get this down. I don't want to overpower my own voice, and I'm sure you don't want either. So, let's see. There are patches even for the ASOs themselves, so they've patched in a 360 controller prompts, etc. in this. I didn't bother doing any of this because, like I say, I mapped the buttons to 360 controller myself very, very quickly. And I can do it. So left L and R will just put the left and right trigger. A is A. So you'll see it here. And I can move around. I use my right analog stick to move around, etc. So it tells me that if I pull my left trigger, I can target. Target enemy displays the battle palette. So it's a Japanese RPG if you don't know. And I can select the fight icon, press A to start in battle, and it'll go. So here we go. If you're too far away from us, you can't attack it. So it's just the general intro to this. So you can see it's not running spectacular. I mean, part of that is due to the fact that I'm using system resources to record this, etc. Which doesn't help things at all. Again, you can follow along on the screen to this, but I'm just going to play through it. If you want to see playthroughs of Xenoblade Chronicles and Dolphin, etc., there's loads of them about, and I can certainly add some more other fantastic ones. So you can see it's running actually not great. When I actually run the test before this, it actually was running a bit better. For my system, it runs about 26 to 30 frames a second, and in fact there's a patch set aside for basically doing exactly that, which is locking the frame rate in. I should also tell you what resolution I'm running this in. I'm running this in 1280 by 720. So I can run it lower, just like any other PC game. It'll run better at lower resolutions. And there are plenty of wikis out for creating better, getting the games to run better and less stutter less. You can't fiddle about. And there are pretty good guides in the wiki, like I was telling you about beforehand. I'm showing off all my skills here by mashing the fight button. So I'm just controlling this with my 360 controller. I mean, as you can see, there's nothing spectacular about about very much of it. You know, right analog stick for zooming around the camera, left analog stick for my movement, and then a couple of buttons. If you think back to the Wiimote itself, you know, there's not many buttons on it. You can treat it like a classic controller as well and set it up like that. I mean, it's not terrifically difficult to do any of that. I mean, I haven't put a great deal of time or effort into doing this setup for this video because, like I said, I just downloaded a brand new version of Dolphin before I did it, so not too bad about it. As like I say, the game would run even a bit better on my system, even without configuration and all that kind of stuff. Just if it wasn't recording, because system resources are not only taking up an awful lot on the system, but I have an awful lot of windows open and that kind of stuff to show you other things to do with it. So the last thing I'll do, I'll show you one of the cutscenes that comes up here. And you'll see quality of textures in the face and that kind of stuff. So you can see where the things are a bit blank, where they're just flat surfaces. You know, it seems a bit flat. So they're not rendered as... They weren't meant to be run in 720p. But some of the artwork certainly does scale up, where some of it doesn't. As you can see, faces can look a bit flat, like they're just a bit painted on. But there's nothing, I mean, I don't think that'll be of any great surprise to anybody. Anything that's textured looks pretty fantastic in it. And I think Sam would be happy with, you know, me showcasing Japanese RPGs, because, you know, that's all he plays, isn't it? No? Yeah, I think it is. And I think he played through Xenoblade on PC as well, using Dolphin. There are loads of Wii games and GameCube games that you can do this on. I mean... Oh dear. From my own catalogue, I have, you know, Donkey Kong Country Returns. Love that game. New Super Mario Brothers, which is New Super Mario Brothers Wii. Resident Evil 4 for the Wii, which is a pretty good version of that. Etc, etc. So I don't have too many others than that, you know, WarioWare and other party games that you tend to pick up for the kids, and Wii Sports and all that kind of stuff. And you can run it with Wii Remote Plus or Wii whatever that one is for Skyward Sword and games like that. So lots of things to see and do, and you know, like I say, there are loads of videos out there. I'll do a full guide if you want, if there's any interest for it. And if not, you know, this serves as a little reminder. I might do some little Let's Plays or little sections on this for future on the website, because it always does look pretty spectacular, etc. So, or can it? So, that's Dolphin Emulator. I hope you've enjoyed this little short vid. I will put a couple of links in the post for etc on how to get started, and then so you can come back with some questions. Go to the site and scrutchablecadaver.com. Like or favorite the vid, so that I know that you want to see more, etc. And aside from that, you can contact me on Twitter at the alter ego, except the E between the T and the R is missing, so it's the TheAltR. No, sorry, ALTERDEGO. And I'll stick the Twitter link actually in the post as well. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope you